ശ്രുതീനാം സൂത്രാണാം സ്മൃതിനിഖിലവേദാനുവചസാം പരം ഹാർദം യുക്തം സകലചിദചിദ്ഭിന്നമഭിജാത് അഭിന്നം സ്വാഭാവ്യാത് ഗുണിജ പരമം ബ്രഹ്മകമിദം സമാദിഷ്ടം യൈസ്താൻ അഭിസതതമീഡേ ഗുരുവരാൻ ഭാഗ്യോദയേന ബഹുജന്മസമാർജിതേന സത്സംഗമേവ ലഭതേ പുരുഷോ യദാ വൈ അജ്ഞാനഹേതുകൃതമോഹമഹാന്ധകാര നാശം വിധായ ഹി തതോദയതേ വിവേകഃ. ഹരിഃ ഓം ഹരിഃ ഓം. We shall recite Omkara 3 times. Harihi Om Tats Jai Guru.
We'll chant together the first shloka of Vivekachoodamani. First shloka. We'll chant from 40 onwards. Hindi. Paramanandamapsyasi
വേദാന്താർത്ഥവിചാരേണ ജായതേ ജ്ഞാനമുത്തമം തേനാത്യന്തിക സംസാര ദുഃഖനാശോ ഭവത്യനു. വേദാന്താർത്ഥവിചാരേണ
വേദാന്താർത്ഥവിചാരേണ
ജായതേ ജ്ഞാനമുത്തമം
ജായതേ ജ്ഞാനമുത്തമം
തേനാത്യന്തിക സംസാര
തേനാത്യന്തിക സംസാര
ദുഃഖനാശോ ഭവത്യനു.
ദുഃഖനാശോ ഭവത്യനു.
വേദാന്താർത്ഥവിചാരേണ
വേദാന്താർത്ഥവിചാരേണ
ജായതേ
ജായതേ
ജ്ഞാനം
ജ്ഞാനം
ഉത്തമം
ഉത്തമം
ജ്ഞാനമുത്തമം
ജ്ഞാനമുത്തമം
തേന
തേന
ആത്യന്തിക സംസാര ദുഃഖനാശഃ
ആത്യന്തിക സംസാര ദുഃഖനാശഃ
ആത്യന്തിക സംസാര ദുഃഖനാശഃ
ആത്യന്തിക സംസാര ദുഃഖനാശഃ
ഭവതി
ഭവതി
അനു.
അനു.
This one sloka, again you should write, learn and put it up at least in 2 or 3 places in your house. You know why we are not progressing in any walk of life? It is simply because of the lack of thoughtfulness. Everyone will have to learn to be thoughtful, thinking. I think most of us are spending time unnecessarily about other things, thinking about other things. There is something called Tattva Vichara. I would like to translate it as truthful introspection. The purpose of the introspection should be to bring about changes and improvements and refinement in oneself. then I would like to describe it as infusional, truthful introspection. The purpose of the introspection should be to infuse into ourselves the sublimity, the changes that we would like to bring about. Every day you should develop that habit. I don't think special time is required for it. Many of us are doing sometimes some routinous work. When we are doing some routine work, that is the time you can do introspection. The time that you spend in the bathroom and the toilet, very good time for introspection. Suppose you go for a morning or an evening walk. That is another time when you can usefully spend your mind, employ your mind in truthful, infusional introspection. Here he says, Vedantartha vicharena. Vichara means this kind of an infusional, truthful introspection. Vedanta artha. Artha can have two meanings. One is, the word meaning is meaning. Another is the object. The object for which we must pursue in our life. So the object of human pursuit is called artha. The object of human pursuit. The object of pursuit for human life. Vedanta means the end portion of Vedas. The entire Vedas are a book or a source of knowledge. From the Vedas we only understand things to be known. Whatever we otherwise know, the Vedas do not discuss. Whatever we are unable to know, that alone the Vedas will discuss. Suppose the Vedas say fire is cold, we cannot accept the statement. So there is a pramana here, as Shankara would put it. Svavishaya shurani hi pramanani shrotradivad. Svavishaya shurani hi pramanani. In every walk of life, there is something called means of proof. All kinds of pramana are svavishaya shurani. They are supreme and sovereign in their own respective walks of life or fields. Shrotra adivad. Just like our ear. Our ears are supreme in the matter of hearing sounds and determining the variations in the sounds. Identify them properly. Suppose two people are speaking. There is a difference in their voice and tone. Only the ear will be able to distinguish them and give you the final verdict. Similarly, eyes alone can give the final verdict with regard to the color and shape of an object. The tongue will be supreme in the matter of taste. Nose will be supreme in the matter of smell. And skill will be supreme in the matter of touch. And the ear cannot be contradicted or disapproved negatived by the eye. So, Shrotra Adivade, every sensory organ is supreme in its own area. This is something very, very important. So, when we see the world and we have our assessment of it, if Vedas say that it is not so, we cannot accept. That is why I said, if the Vedas say fire is cold, we cannot accept it. So, Vedas do not speak about all these things. What you are not able to understand ordinarily, that alone the Vedas would discuss. Now let us take one instance. My dear man, you are not the body. You only have the body. You have the body. Because the body is something that you have, you are different from the body. So you are the soul. Now this knowledge is something that we don't come across ordinarily. You may live for 60, 70, 80 or 100 years in the world. You will never come to know that I am the soul different from the body. So the Vedas make a supreme statement. My dear man, you are not the body. My dear man, you are not mortal. Your body is mortal, but you are not mortal. Simply because you are different from the body. If the body is mortal and you are different from the body, you cannot be mortal because you are different from. So you are a life or something like jiva or the spirit. Now they go on explaining further and further about what is that body different soul. The body is born. The body will die. And the body is subject to growth and decline. Because you are different from the body. Are you following me? You are different from the body. The body is born, so that birth does not apply to you. The body will die, that also does not apply. The body grows and declines, that also does not apply. You are different from the body, different from the body. When you are different from the body, if body is born, you are not born. If the body is stout, you are not stout. If the body is sick, you are not sick. Because you are different from. Now you start developing your thinking and ultimately reach a state where nothing that the body does is applicable to you. That is how we become liberated. The knowledge becomes so effective, so strong, so supreme, so sovereign in you that the body life has no more any binding effect on you. This is something very important. Now, the artha that is provided by Vedanta, you should determine the object of your life, the pursuit of your life, on the basis of Vedanta, on the basis of the Upanishads. What do the Upanishads say? Na vittena tarpaniyo manushyo. Man can never be satisfied, the human can never be satisfied by wealth or money. Any kind of an external possession, nobody will say it is enough, sufficient, and no more I need. Na vittena tarpaniyo manushyo. Iha cheda vedit atha satyamasti na chediha vedin mahati vinashti. If you succeed in knowing the supreme truth in this life, your life becomes meaningful, fruitful, and fulfilling. If you are not able to know, then colossal, great is the loss. You know, when I happened to read this particular sentence in Calcutta in my pre-sannyasa life, I cannot tell you what was the impact in my mind and the intelligence. If you succeed in knowing it here and now, your life becomes meaningful, truthful, and fulfilling. On the other hand, if you ignore or fail to know this, then your life becomes absolutely lossful. This one sentence of evaluation is sufficient for you to pick up the object of pursuit in your life. You may have a family, you may have children, you may have wealth, you may have so many other things in the way of possessions in this world. None of them is going to fulfill your life or make life meaningful. We are a being given to the wealth and treasure of knowledge. And knowledge is something inner. It is a derivative of our buddhi, of our consciousness. So our wealth should be judged in terms of the consciousness that we are. So this is something very, very important. Na karmana, na prajaya dhanena, tyage naige, amrutatvamanashuhu. You may do anything glorious, seemingly glorious, famous also, in the way of an act. Hillary and Tenzing, they climbed Mount Everest for the first time. That was something of a feat, very great. People were praising them. In the course of time, after about 100, 200, 500 or 600 years, there will be no Hillary or Tenzing at all. Who will remember them? Many people may have invented many things, discovered also many things. What is there after all? What is it that they have left in the way of a bequest? So you will find na karmana, by doing anything seemingly glorious in the way of an action or an activity. No. Na prajaya, by begetting maybe a good number of children or a number of good children. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, by wealth. Not by any one of these man has attained immortality or the abiding glory in human life, fulfillment in human life. Na karmana, na prajaya dhanena, tyage naige, amrutatvamanashuhu. Only by sacrifice and leaving, abandoning, they have attained glory and fulfillment in life. This is another statement. These are all pronouncements, declarations, assessments, revelations of our Upanishads called Vedanta. Now, Vedantartha vicharena, In terms of religion, how can you attain God? God is pervading everywhere. He is permeating in you, interpenetrating everything and surrounding everyone. God is present. But you are not able to realize Him or see Him. So I want to see God. People go to the temple. What do they see? They see an idol. And they come back. The idol idolizes God. The idol represents God. You are not going there to see the idol. You are going there to have a touch and feeling of God. That God is idolized by an idol. Nobody prostrates before an idol saying that, my dear stone, my pranams to you. Nobody says. We are always addressing God, looking at the deity. That God, how will you have a touch of? So here what is required is a presence that is everywhere, a presence that is penetrating you also. How will you have a touch of it? Only by your inner faculty. And what are the inner faculties? A feelingful and an emotional mind, an investigating and understanding intelligence. Only by the application of your mind and intelligence you will ever have a touch or a feel of God. Vedantartha vicharena, that process wherein the intelligence is constantly employed, that is called vichara. The word vichara means truthful introspection, rumination, reflection. That is what it means. I am telling people many times, we have 4 levels of activity. One is the physical and the sensory one. Another is the oral one, articulation. These are the visible, external, gross things. The other 2 is, one is mental, whatever you do with the mind in the terms of feelings, emotion, memory, etc. And the 4th is using the intelligence and trying to inquire into, try to pursue the inquiry and then know and gain knowledge. Now in all these things you will find, if physical activity, one unit of physical activity has got one effect, oral activity of the same measure will have 100 effects. And mental will be 1,000, intelligence will be 1 lakh. So much is the difference. Unless you are able to employ your mind and intelligence, you will never be able to get at the all-pervading God. We are missing Him. Missing Him. Why? Not that we don't have eyes, we don't have ears. Our eyes show only the object. Now God is a subject. The subject cannot be shown by the eyes or the ears. That is why we go to the temple, look at the deity, and when the devotee is full of devotion, he naturally closes his eyes. He doesn't want to see the idol. He wants to have the feeling of the presence of God. That feeling can be had only within the body, in the sphere of the mind, heart and intelligence. These are all very simple things, but we don't inquire about them, think about them. Whenever your devotion becomes deep, automatically the eyes close. That is why people want to meditate. Meditation is a state where the eyes remain closed generally. So that vichara is the process. Vedantartha vicharena jayate jnanam uttamam. You have the uttama knowledge. Normally our knowledge is object-based. Am I clear in my expression? What is the scientist enquiring into? He is enquiring into the objects. Using his eyes, using his other organs, with the aid of telescope and microscope, he is only looking into the object, the object hemisphere of creation. Now the truth is in the subject hemisphere, where we neither need a telescope nor a microscope. We don't just want even the eyes and the ears. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Do not hear any sound. Try to feel what is the presence within you. So the Uttama Jnana is not the knowledge of the outside objects, the gross things. The Uttama Jnana is the source by virtue of which you are able to employ your senses and have perceptions of the objects. The source from where perceiving proceeds, where perception is registered. Am I clear or not? थोड़ा सोच लीजिए ना. Perception does not, when I see the watch, you mean to say my looking at the watch and my seeing the watch, they proceed from the watch or they proceed from me, the perceiver. So the perception proceeds from the inner consciousness. And when the perception is registered, that registration also is in the inner consciousness. The senses come in between and they cannot do the perception themselves. They have to be employed by the mind. They have to be employed by the intelligence. So, Vedantartha Vijarena Jayate Jnanam Uttamam. Uttama jnana is had only by Vichara. Vichara itself is an exercise. That itself is a sadhana. Please enrich your life with thoughtfulness. Think. Whenever you get angry, you think, am I right in getting angry? People tell me, Swamiji, how to overcome anger. I think you have to get rid of your anger. That means you have to hate your hatred. The man who gets angry, he doesn't like it himself. Others around, they also don't like it. Then why should you have something which neither you like nor the others like? We should understand that irritability, it happens, but it's never approved by anybody. So there must be an introspectional process which is instituted in us and which should remain constant. Jnanamuttamam tena atyandika samsara dukkhanasho. Tena, by that, atyandika samsara dukkhanashaha. Atyandika means final, ultimate. Samsara dukkhanashaha. The miseries and agitations produced by the world. Now, Srimad Bhagavata is a very beautiful, interesting text. At least you can get a sample of Srimad Bhagavatam from the book that we have translated into English this time. Krishna has 24 teachers. It is about 4 chapters of Krishna's dialogue with Uddhava. You should see how Krishna presents the truth. He very clearly says, what does he say? Unless you take up the process of introspection, inquiry into, you will not be able to find the truth. Purushatve cha mam dhiraah Sankhya Yoga visharadaah vistaram prapashyandi sarva shakti upabrimhidam. Shall I explain this verse for you? See, he speaks, I created a number of bodies. Listen to me very carefully. I created a number of bodies. And he describes them as single-legged, two-legged, three-legged, four-legged, multi-legged and no-legged. When I created all these bodies, mind you, the creation or the creatures, they differ only bodily. The presence inside which created the bodies is the same in the human and in the ant. There is no difference in the inner presence. Only in the bodily instruments there are differences. I was not happy. Then I created the human body. When I created the human body, I was happy and fulfilled. You know why? Purushatve. In the human body, mam dhiraah. They are able to penetrate into, discover and realize me. Purushatve cha mam dhiraah. Who will succeed and who make this discovery? Dhiraha, the wise people, the intelligent people, who think that the human life is not for eating, sleeping and multiplying. The human life is meant for knowledge. It is meant for going into the inner hemisphere of creation, the inner domain. The wise people, Purushatve jamam dhiraah Sankhya Yoga visharadaah. They have to become experts, visharada, very clever and very intelligent, qualified. Where? Sankhya Yoga visharadaah. They have to become very clever and experts in Sankhya and Yoga. You know what is meant by Sankhya? Sankhya is actually given, Sankhya, the name is given to the process of Tattva Vichara. We generally identify it with Kapila's Sankhya Yoga. The world is born. How is this world born? We are all living upon the earth. The earth is a solid substance. As a solid substance, it is much heavier and denser than air. But the earth is surrounded by air. If the earth is surrounded by air, what is the support of the earth? It is after all a planet, a sphere. The sphere is surrounded by air. So what is supporting this earth? Air cannot support it. And beyond the air, there is emptiness, there is shunya, the shunyakasha. So everything seems to be hovering in the shunyakasha. The shunyakasha is infinitely more than the planets and the heavenly bodies in space. Now you tell me, from where what would have come? All these heavenly bodies hovering in the sky must have come from the Shunyakasha. Can the Shunyakasha produce these bodies? So the Sankhya people started thinking. Their laboratory was their own body. They did not have a telescope. They did not have a microscope. They never wanted also one. Only by a process of employing their intelligence, they inquired into, and found out there is something called the undifferentiated source, the avyakta or the avyakrita. It is a state of unmanifestation, unmanifestedness. Nothing is there, everything is indistinct. From that indistinctness, all the things came to be. And how was the evolution? From the subtle into the gross. Subtle into the gross. There was space, then there was something called energy, fire, and then came air, then came water, and finally came the solid substance, earth. Now this is a process of evolution, condensation. When the condensed material start getting rarefied, becoming subtler, then the solid substance will become fluid. The fluid will become gaseous. The gaseous will become further energy. And the energy and everything will disappear and ultimately will become indistinct space. So they made a process. This is called the Sankhya Yoga. In the Sankhya Yoga, the only faculty that works in you is our intelligence. We see. See, any one of you can think, we are all on this earth, but the earth is surrounded by air. How can air support the earth? So there is something beyond these things. So they started thinking. Now all this thinking was facilitated only by their own experience. And what are these experiences? Mind you, it is not experiences of the waking state or wakefulness alone. We have three basic states. I don't know whether you find it interesting. For every experimentation that you are doing, even for the scientists, the basis is ourselves. Ourselves. Our body, our senses, our mind, our intelligence, our ego, and the beyond. It is with these that we conduct all experiments. In Europe, they are going into the particle, God particle. I sometimes wonder, is God a particle or an aggregate? Can God be a particle? What is this particle? And the particle is going to be visible before them. So between the particle perceived and the perceiving scientist, you tell me which or who is fundamental? The particle perceived or the scientist who perceives? Huh? Now the perceiving personality is what Sankhya finally inquired into. So they said, wakefulness is there. Only when you wake up, the world of objects comes to be. In the same manner as you perceive the world, you stop your perception and go to sleep. And in sleep you are absolutely indistinct. Even now, nobody is able to say what is sleeping. Because you cannot say, I am sleeping. You can only say, I slept. You can say, I am wakeful. You cannot say, I am dreaming and I am sleeping. When you wake up from sleep, you are not asleep. When you are wakeful, you are currently in the wakefulness. So the sleep, The entire wakefulness is wiped off and you go to sleep. So in the sleep you are avyakta, indistinct. When you wake up, you become distinct. So from the indistinct state, the emergence into the distinctness, similarly vice versa, both are taking place within us. The same applies to the universe also. So unless you are an expert in vichara, applying your intelligence, Sankhya Yoga Visharadaha. What is meant by yoga? The word yoga means what? Unifying, amalgamating, merging, blending one thing with another. Yujyate anena iti yoga. One has to become united with the another. This kind of one thing getting united with the other. Where is it possible? Can two physical things be united? No, it cannot be done. If at all there is anything called yoga, one fused into the other, it can only be in the inner mind level. Something that I am explaining very uniquely, you may not hear it anywhere else. If there is anything called merger, one merges into the other. You see, you pour 1 liter of milk is there, pour another liter of water. The two are apparently merged, but you will find there is a quantitative increase. Is it not? That is not fusion. When fused into B, there should be no change in B at all. It should be completely fused, and they should remain the same. That is called fusion. Such fusion, where is it possible? Only inside the body, in the mind level. And what can be fused into what? I should keep you for 5 minutes, because otherwise I will say and I will go and you will not understand. What can be fused into what? Thought can be fused into thinking. Thinking can be fused into thinker. And the thinker can be fused into a pre-thinking entity. So many thoughts are appearing within you. Is anything remains separately there? Why are you keeping quiet? When I speak to you about your daily experience, you are not responding. This is why you are not experts in Sankhya. Kuch nahi milega. See, so many thoughts are arising within your body. Can you extract one thought and show it to me? Here it is. What about your emotions? What about your knowledge? You say infinity. Can you show it for me? You say zero. Show it to me. What is zero? Nothing. What is nothing? See, so many ideas are coming up in the mind. No idea remains separately from the mind. All the ideas are there for us to experience, feel and know about. But by no idea, there is an addition within us. And when the ideas disappear, there is a merger taking place. There is no quantitative increase or otherwise. So the yoga, the actual yoga, unification is possible only within our body in the sphere of consciousness. So you must be able to dissolve your thinking process. You must be able to dissolve the thinking process. Fuse all the thoughts into the one thinker, and let the thinker also be fused into the pre-thinker entity, as it happens in sleep. In sleep, everything is fused into yourself. What will you say after waking up? I slept. What? I slept. Who slept? I slept. When you slept, what happened? The entire wakefulness, where did it go? Thoda boliye na, sochiye na. You were wakeful, no? And you felt so much possessive about many things. I have a makan, a building. I have a car. I have a family. I have an office. I am an industrialist. So many things were there. You, along with all those things, completely fused into somewhere. And you say, what happened to your body? Merged. What happened to your mind? Merged. What happened to the world perception? Merged. Where they merged? Huh? If you were wakeful and you were seeing the world, are you following me? I don't think. I was seeing the world, and the world was plural world, manifold world. All this manifoldness of the world, and the root cause, namely myself, my body, my mind, my intelligence, my ego, everything, what happened? I slept. So a yoga is possible only within yourself. So you must be able to employ your intelligence and penetrate into the regions of existence, the graduated existence, then the graduated dissolution, everything, and ultimately dissolve the inner processes. If you are experts in both, he says, Purushatve cha mam dhiraah Sankhya Yoga visharadaah avistaram prapashyanti. I am wondering, when are our people going to understand these statements? Avistaram prapashyanti. At least you say this. Avistaram prapashyanti sarvashakti upabrimhitam. They are able to understand me in all my infinitude. Vistaram. See, we are sitting in an octagonal hall of Center for Inner Resources Development. When I look around, I find so many things. My vision goes further beyond. A number of trees are there. If you come out and look at, you will find the infinite sky. Mind you, all these things are your experience. What? The sleeping eye, as I was, when I got up, an expanse I experienced. In sleep I experienced nothing. And from that zero level, now I am going to have an infinitude. This infinitude is perceived within you as an extension of the I in you. Other than your experience of infinitude, is there any other infinitude available or possible? Infinitude or infinity itself is a concept of your mind. So they see me in the Purushatva, in the human body, Vistara, as infinitely extensive. Sarva Shakti Upabrimhidam. This is where you will still fail to understand what I say. But I want you to succeed. Sarva Shakti Upabrimhidam. Do you know what are your powers? Every power known in this world is a power of the human. Who invented electricity? Elephant, jackal, tiger or rhinoceros? What is electricity? Electricity becomes electricity only in front of the human being. Magnetism becomes magnetism only in the apprehension or comprehension of the human being. Every power is cognized, recognized or apprehended by the human. So if all the powers we have found and we are employing them, what should be the extent of power that you have who employs these powers? I don't know whether you understand what I say. समझ लेते हैं क्या? थोड़ा बोलिए ना. You can only judge you as a मालिक. हमारे पास 10 एकरों की जमीन है, मालिक. Why don't you understand that you have infinite powers? Every form of energy, everything is proceeding from ourselves. If electricity is there, it is before us and we are using it. Magnetism, we are using it. Light, we are using. That the sun is luminous is a verdict by us. Is there any energy not referred to by the human being? Even if there is energy, of what consequence is it? So all the powers, they proceed from the human, and that too not from his body, from his inside. So in the Purushatva, in the human body, they are able to go into my nature, my extensiveness, my potential, my infinitude. And what is the process they employ for it? Sankhya and Yoga. Sankhya means introspection. An exercise done by the intelligence. And Yoga is the process and the art of dissolving everything in your mind as in sleep. There is no action or a reaction which we cannot dissolve in our mind, which you cannot dissolve in your mind. There is no reaction, no reaction. We are fuming. For what purpose? I don't know. Everything that you have ultimately gives you joy and satisfaction. And the joy and satisfaction are mental, emotional. Being an emotion, it belongs to the mind. And every happiness is ultimately mental. Why don't you resort to your mind to generate and preserve the happiness in its full measure, all by itself, without any linkage with the objects? That is what the knowers of truth get. Instead of running about, they close their eyes. You know, the moment you close your eyes, you will start feeling the radiation from the body. From the body it is seemingly or feelingfully heat. But the source of the heat is the blissful consciousness. If you can go 1 millimeter behind the heat radiation, you will find the spiritual radiance. It is so simple and easy. Because it's simple and easy, we are not able to get it. Purushatve cha mam dhiraah Sankhya Yoga visharadaah Avistaram prapashyanti sarvashaktyupa brahmidam. This is how Krishna begins his dialogue with Uddhava. So he says, you have to employ your intelligence. Then only you will be able to get over the delusional clinging to your body and bodily properties and relationship. You will be able to leave Dwaraka before I leave, and Dwaraka is taken over by the sea. After listening to Krishna, Uddhava simply started. Are you hearing me? Huh? The same Uddhava who said, I cannot keep away from your lotus feet even for half a second. Cryingly and weepingly, he decided to leave. He only asked for the sandals of Krishna. First of all, he prostrated before Krishna, drenched his feet with his tears, got up, asked for the chappals, put them on his head, and he was walking, turning back, and disappeared. Only after 3 hours of talk, 3 hours of talk, he listened to. See, what a beautiful narration these things are. You should appreciate them. Why don't you spend some time? You read the book. Krishna has 24 teachers. He is quoting an Avadhuta, a spiritual hippie. Krishna's own predecessor, Yadu Chakravarti. The moment he saw this wonderful Avadhuta, the spiritual hippie, as a Maharaja, he understood his greatness. He stopped his chariot, got down, fell at his feet, and he was asking him, while all people are being pushed and pulled by the world thrills, the world attractions, you seem to be like a huge tusker, immersed in Ganges water, very cool and comfortable. no heat at all for you. How is it that you gain this stability, this withdrawal, this composure? I would like to know. Then he started narrating. I have learned from 24 sources. Nothing or none spoke to me. My own intelligence started reflecting upon whatever I saw or whatever I heard, and then I got this kind of an illumination. And 24 teachers are presented by the Avadhuta, which Sri Krishna himself presents before Uddhava, the initial part of his instruction. And just see, a number of non-Hindus like this 24 teacher dialogue. So many people. My telecast is in Malayalam. The people are saying, we have heard Bhagavatam so many times. Saptahams also we have heard. But we never knew that Srimad Bhagavatam is a text like this. 80% of Srimad Bhagavatam is Vedanta and Vedanta alone. 80%. But it is presented in a very beautiful manner, linked with devotion. So when I speak about vichara, please understand it very well. You have the intelligence, you are using it, but only to become a professional expert, a family expert, a household expert. Use it spiritually and get the greatest glory that is earmarked for the human life. Vedantartha vicharena jayade jnanamuttamam tenatyantika samsara dukkhanasho. By vichara alone, you will be able to terminate all the torments of the world. And they will get destroyed forever. We have Arjuna as one instance, Uddhava as another, and we have Parikshit one and Sri Rama another. All are in different sittings and different situations. All of them were equally treated and equally everything went off well. So this vichara is something very, very important. Very, very important. Use your intelligence. Learn to be introspecting, always. We shall stop for the day. Kartavyamasti namameha na kinchideva stadavyamityadimanaha bhuvi samstidosmi samshamdaya sadada supta dhiyaiva vritya karyam karomi nacha kinchidaham karomi nacha kinchidaham karomi. Harihi Om. That's